Gagan, or someone is doing it?
Yeah, we will do, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Say, yeah, is the slides visible? I hope all the faculty are able to see the slides, and you are also able to see.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me move on with my slideshow.
Sure.
So, as Madam had already introduced me, I am working in Vinayaga Missions. Our head office is at Salem. We have 5 campuses across Tamil Nadu and Union Territory Pondicherry and Karaikal, and I'm heading the institution here at the Pondicherry campus. Now, coming to the topic on integrity, all of us have been talking about this integrity quite a long time. But when it comes to research, what is the integrity? I should start off with the Ramayana story. When Vali was killed by Rama, everyone asked whether Sri Rama did an honest job, because war should be always in front of the person, not behind the person. So Sri Rama had put the arrow from behind the tree to kill Vali, because he had a very innate ability of transferring everyone's strength to himself, so that the opponent can never fight the war. So this is an integrity what we are looking at. Now that is a part of the story. But what is integrity? Let us understand why this is being told now. I always tell it is Kalikal, and you will get lot of disintegrity or non-integrity. Honest. Where are we honest? Why are we honest? Why we are not honest? And especially in academics and especially in research, why we should be honest is the topic that is given to me. At this juncture, I would like to thank Chitkara University Management, the Board of Management, the organizers for giving me this wonderful opportunity to spell a few wisdom on this. And I could also learn so many things by preparing these slides more and more. So as I do every presentation, I always think I'm learning more on that particular topic, honing my skills. Coming to this integrity. Now, everyone should be honest in respect of their own actions, especially in research. In their responses to the action of other researchers also. Suppose you are seeing your own colleague is not following the steps of research. They are removing some important data from the research. Then it becomes a dishonest presentation of data. We will be going through so many aspects of this, how we are going. But integrity, basically, in schools we have studied it is honest. You got to be honest in whatever you do. Very recently, even I just want to add, because the morning, I think few are still coming in, we are admitting. We have just started a honest shop in our college, where there is no salesman for that. The shop has got stationery, everything. The tariff is there, open. If there is a dumb box kept for that, and the student can see the tariff, take the pen, write in the notebook, and put the money, whatever, based on the tariff. So this is a big check of integrity. And I'm very happy from January we started, now it's almost June. We had a loss of only 3 pens and 2 rubber, like that. The rest all things are there. We spent around 700, 800 rupees on the stationery. It is still there. So why I'm saying this is honesty. We have to check ourselves whether we are honest. Now, integrity is what one should be honest in respect of their own actions in research, and also for others' actions. If they are not honest, then you should be a whistleblower. Now, applies to all research work. This integrity is not just in data collection. Some will say, oh, she didn't even go for data collection. It is not only there. It is from starting of your designs, from the proposal presentation, generating, analyzing. I have heard MSc students telling, I'm sure many of you faculty must have come across that. Oh, ma'am, the minute I went and told in the classroom, someone copied my own statement. In a group of 10 or 20, if they copy the statement, then this person cannot do that study. She has to rephrase it and reorganize it. It becomes a challenge for her. So that is a very difficult thing. So starting from the proposal, applying for funding, many people boost their budget. So that is why funding has become a very tough thing now. Earlier, funding was very abundant. Everyone could get some fund, outside fund. Today, if it is out extramural funding, it's very difficult for us to get. Even seed money project from your own institute, very difficult because people have a benefit of doubt. There always some doubt behind whether this is really they are telling or they are telling false. Why did they have that? Because people were in between doing all these practices, unwanted practices. Publishing results. Results is many you must be seeing. Sometimes you will also see it's a skewed data when they present. We know that it would have been 0 or 1 score, and pre-test it will be like that. And within 1 weeks of class, she would have had made some 10 score. 1 week session on, say, suppose it's a first aid measure for a maternal woman, for an ASHA worker or something. How do you expect it to jump to 10 score? Then, when we are seeing the data itself, we seem to have a skewed data. We realize that it's not gelling with our mind, no? Human brain is also like a monkey. You think, oh, maybe true, but we always, why means we have seen many people skewing the data like that. Then recognizing any real or potential conflicts of interest. Suppose I am there in the class. I'm one of the student. I'm also a researcher. Then my conflict of interest is different. Then acknowledging the direct and indirect contribution of colleagues and contributors. This is the biggest challenge today. What we are seeing. Not many faculty give the due respect and credits to the colleagues and collaborators. They write, many you would have come across. I'm sure many faculty would have come across that you would have written something. It had happened in my own life also. I gave a very nice statement. It was one very senior, I don't want to mention the name, very popular cardiologist, took off my whole statement and data. I was so upset for almost 1 week. It was my initial days. Then I came out of it. Then I realized, okay, I'm not going to share any of this till I publish the data or till I finish the study, because the whole data. See, I made such a nice tool for that. Totally, they stole that data and they said it. They put their names. Cardiology department put their names. So I lost everything. I had worked for it. It pains for the person who really works, who really analyzes it, who really does a background work. So you lose. This is how we kill the interest of research among people. Actually, I should say then luckily I didn't succumb to this. But there are many youngsters I see, ma'am, why are we doing? Not needed. Anyway, I've studied, I'll do something like that. This is what is happening in today's world. So give the due respect to the collaborators, colleagues who are doing this along with you. Acknowledge them. And ethics. Ethics is a moral principle of right and wrong. I'm sure we have studied that in our management, in our research. Not absolute, may vary by person, by time, by place. It cannot be absolute. That is where the problem comes in. See, there is no written thing for ethics. It changes. It's a very dynamic thing. What is ethics today, what you are seeing may not be ethics tomorrow. One classic example I can give is MTP. Okay, medical termination of pregnancy. When it was started, it was in a different note. Now we have included rape. Now you don't need a consent of any adult. It is the individual woman's consent. If she is adult and if she is an matured person, then you don't need, unless otherwise she is mentally deranged. So these are the changes that are now living together. Now you would say ethics. Is it an ethic? That is a subject to debate. So it keeps changing. And gay marriages, lesbian marriages, all these, is it ethics? In Roman period, Roman Empire had the full. They were marrying between brother and sister. Now, if you say that it is ethics, so it keeps changing. Remember that. So in research also it keeps changing. Maybe in competition with each other, ethics can come. And research ethics is incorporating ethical principles into research practice. So what we should know as a faculty is, what are the ethical principles? So who is the person who gives us the ethical principle? Of course, it is ICMR. Go with the ICMR guidelines, nobody else. We will go through the ICMR guidelines only when it comes to ethics, bioethics, or it could be animal ethics or human ethics. Go through their data because they are the nearest standardized people. There is no, because if you take any WHO or any other thing, it will differ because of the nations. Our demography is different here. So go with the guidelines of the ICMR. May involve a balance between and within principles and practices. So the principle and practices should be the same. Like for example, the principle of earlier deliveries were only to have in a lithotomy position. Now the practice has changed, isn't it? You can even have a birthing chair. You can be, go with a dolphin in a swimming pool. So ethics keep changing there. So balance, you should identify the balance, what it is. So is it ethically right? So dolphin is there. How good the dolphin is maintained, how good the mother is maintained, whether she knows swimming, whether she is comfortable in the aqua this thing. All these things you will have to look into. All stages, all those involved from inception of research through to completion and publication of results and beyond. So research ethics doesn't start from the data collection or something. Many people, I'm sure you all know, data collection not done. Even students, we know that you are asking for attendance, you are asking them to come and report to the college every day, and that is the reason now they are saying don't go out of the college, you do within the campus, because we found that there are a lot of mischief behavior in that. And publication of results and beyond is disseminating in your journals, in your scopus or thing. Then they should not say, oh, it's already, we have had that. I have gone through that. One of our faculty, totally, it was supposed basic study, and she published it. And the guide says I didn't see, but you cannot say that, right? The guide should be monitoring. They had copied fully one other, which was published in 1990. Completely, it was copied and presented, and we had to retract the journal, the publication from that particular journal. It was a huge, uh, it is dirty thing that we are looking at. Now, when did all these started? In 1947, I'm sure you all of know the Second World War, the Nazis, the genocide that had happened, and the Nuremberg Code. From there only it has happened. This is a set of ethic principle where they injected the syphilis, and all these people had syphilis and they were dying. And then it was realized, oh, this is genocide. And then Nuremberg trials had happened after the Second World War. And that is how we did till now say Hitler is a dictator. Hitler is a bad man. If someone is very arrogant, we say, are you a Hitler? So that much of this thing we have given. So Nuremberg Court in 1947 came up. But beyond that, in 1968, that was a 1947 Nuremberg Code. That is the first time we are realizing not all educated people have ethics. They are not honest. All researchers do not have are not honest. So then we realized, till that time, what we realized is all educated people don't do any mischief, don't do unethical things. All researchers are big scientists, they don't do. That was the time. It was a bell that rang in everyone's mind that no, education should actually change the behavior, but it didn't. So the scientists can do anything, doctors can do anything, just for the heck of it, for popularity, for gain of money or whatever. So that is the actually a eye opener. Then 1968 Declaration of Helsinki (DOH), the set of ethical principles regarding human nature. Till now we are following that. World Medical Association has absorbed it, and it is widely regarded as a cornerstone document for human research ethics. Then after that, 1979 Belmont Report is a report created by National Commission for Protection of Human Subjects of Biomedical and Behavioral Research. It summarizes all the ethical principles and guidelines that involves the human subjects. So these are the classical milestone areas where when you say ethics means if you don't talk about this, then integrity doesn't. I mean, you are incomplete when you talk when you don't talk that. In 1993, Council for International Organization of Medical Sciences, they also brought in a biomedical community to promulgate the guidelines of the research in all the human subjects, and these 15 guidelines there which addresses the issue of informed consent, standard of external review, recruitment of participants, and such sampling and all these things. So this is also very important guideline. CIOMS is also a guideline that we should look into whenever we are doing it. Then 2005 Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights by the UNESCO on 19 October 2005 is a very important step to search for the global minimum standards. Until now, it is a very important milestone document. Now, all of you know this word bioethics. It started when the UNESCO jumped into it and gave the steps. So, it is also a cornerstone document for us. Now, we are saying these are there, right? From 1947 till 2005, there are so many things that had happened. Every time when there is an issue, they have brought in this. Now, what is a research misconduct? Sometimes we think, oh, I didn't do much. I just took that standardized tool and I did for my study. Now, is that standardized tool, am I correct or not? What did I do for that? So, let us first have an eye opener on what is a misconduct. If you have to talk about conduct, then you should also understand what is a misconduct. I don't wear a helmet, then it becomes a policy. The law doesn't allow me. So I should understand whether to wear a helmet or not and what sort of a helmet I should wear. So these are the important things. So when it comes to research integrity, look at the research misconduct. What are the misconduct? Actually, this again arose in 1980s when many institutions ignored or covered up potential misconduct. Till now, pharmaceutical companies have, even recently you must have seen, there was a big hue and cry about the covaxin. What are the complications? I'm sure you all are going through that. The very recent report on the pharmaceutical companies on their expiry dates, and the Cerelac and the Nestum, it is said that in the Cerelac, the developing, the researchers are working on it. We are yet to get the final report. They are saying that these companies, Nestle company, is adding more sugar for the Indian children and not in the West End. That is within the standards. But when it comes to the developing nations, they are ignoring and covering up the potential harm of it and putting more sugar. Now, that is why for any pediatric group, we say reduce all these, canned ones that is available in the market. Again, it has to come through a research. Someone has to come in a big way and tell whether it is good or bad and reduce it. Or even diabetes, there's a lot of hue and cry that India is made as a potential diabetic capital, right? That is one thing. So you'll have to, they are covering up the potential misconduct problems rather than investigating it. So researcher cannot have like that, right? So what are the research misconduct policies? There should be establishing a definition for the research. First, even in our college, when it is students are doing, we should frame a SOP saying that what is a misconduct. You do this, we will have a punitive outline procedure for reporting and investigating misconduct. Who will be there in the committee when there is a misconduct, and how we are going to go? If this much proportion is given, this percentage, then what is the punishment? This much is there, then like that, some outlining of procedure should be there, and mainly provide a protection for whistleblowers. It is some student who comes and says, what usually we see in the practice is when the other student comes and says, ma'am, she is not going to the area, she is not there in the data collection, this girl only will be in trouble always, because her IA will automatically go down, because that guide of the other student might be the subject handler, things like that. We are seeing it every day. So she is been accused of a misconduct when she was a whistleblower, she or he. So whistleblowers, when they come and open up and say this is what, then they have to be protected first. So outline a policy for that in your own college and in your own place so that the whistleblowers are well protected. Otherwise, what will happen? Nobody will come and tell you the truth. We will be in a fake world, totally fake world. We will think that everything is right. Everyone is going very nicely. Whenever someone says even this delimitation level, limitations, when student comes and says, ma'am, I didn't face any, I always have this in my mind, back brain, no, it keeps going. Why is she saying she doesn't have? Every research will have something, right? Every research will have some issues. So, why it's not going? Why it's not going?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's not moving for some reason.
Okay, might be there is some network.
It's going. So, research misconduct, what is it? The Department of Health and Human Services defines as fabrication, falsification, plagiarism. Okay, these are the three main words. I'm sure plagiarism, all of us know because we have the software, we check the whole material and then put it for the book, all these things. Plagiarism, at least we know, where there is another idea, another person's ideas and processes, results or words without giving any proper credit. Whether there's no footnotes, there's no reference, there is no acknowledgement, there is no thank you. I copied from there. Just now you must have seen my definition on integrity. I captured it from there. It's not my definition. So under that you give a footnote. But in what is a fabrication? Fabrication is making up results and recording or reporting them. You won't go to the area. This is possible in the students. You must have seen they'll never go to the area. One day they would have gone, some data they must have got. Then after that, she herself sitting in her room because it's very easy, no? Put the master code sheet and finish off. That is where when you see the data analysis, you will be somewhat able to find out how, and when you interact also, you will be able to find out. Falsification is manipulation of research materials, equipments, or processes, or changing or omitting the result. For example, if she has got some 50, totally she is supposed to get 200 samples. Out of that 50 samples, there was a 0 score in the post test. That means it is not effective. Almost it's 1/3 of the proportion of the sample size. So if the person is going to add that and do the data analysis, then obviously the research will not be effective. Then you will have to reject your research hypothesis, saying that there is a significant difference between the knowledge and practice and the structured teaching you have given. Example, simple example I'm giving. So what happens is then you want to have the hypothesis to be accepted. So what you do, these 50 data you omitted, either you add some score and put it at mediocre 5 marks, 6 marks like that and bring the score up, or you omit the whole data and you sit in the office itself and do everything and not accurately represented in the record. What is exactly that? This happens in many of the microbiology things where they change the whole organism, all these things. So these are research misconduct. There are 3 research misconduct where you have fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. Plagiarism, we are very commonly using it, so we know that. Fabrication is totally making up the result. You know, you're not going to the area, sitting in the room and doing the data and giving it. Falsification is half the data you have already collected. You want a better data to show the world. No, the study is very good. The vaccine is very good. The medication is very good. So what you do, you sit and do the changes and boost the values. You are giving a boost. Boost is the secret there. So you are pushing the result there. What it is not, honest error or differences of opinion. Maybe honestly something happened, So then it becomes not a misconduct. Criteria for research misconduct. See, in this picture I have put, someone is doing a microbiology. 3 petri dish he is supposed to take. One petri dish is some result he is not getting as to his lookout or as to his goal. So what he does, he trashed it. So that is why I have put that. So what is the criteria for research method? Represents a significant departure from accepted practices. What did you commit during proposal? You said, I will go to the area, I will do this, I will do for 10 days, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, cohort, 10 districts I am taking, all that you have committed. But what did you do during the data collection time? A significant departure. Instead of 10 districts, I went to 4 districts. Instead of giving 10 cohorts, I've given only 5 cohorts, multiplied it as 10 cohorts. So it is intentionally or knowingly or recklessly we have committed a mistake. Can be proven by a preponderance of evidence. We can take that. Like, for example, I told usually postgraduate students, we come to know that she didn't go to the area or she didn't go to the labor room. The staff nurses give you the report that she didn't collect in the night, or she has gone to the MRD and collected the whole stuff instead of sitting and watching the delivery. All these things you can do. What is not a misconduct is honest, unintentional. You have put all these petri dishes, something happened in one dish, and still you add the data, then that becomes not a misconduct. So, what is the recommendation? How should you go about? No falsification, no fabrication, no plagiarism. If you have to have these three things in your mind as a misconduct, then the first thing that we should have is adopt a zero tolerance, whoever it may be. Could be a faculty, even if you don't publish that study, that's all right. We know we are into the PAR, API, performance appraisal every year, all that. Remove that. Have a policy very stringent and strong. Nobody will tell you. It's a highly judgmental document, an SOP that you will write. Protect whistleblowers. Why we are not knowing is nobody comes and tells us because she is scared when she is doing. So when that person is doing, what she will do? Again, she will also falsify it, fabricate it, plagiarize it. Clarify how to report. Tell all the stakeholders how do you report when there is a misconduct. Have a SOP for that. Not many of our colleges have. I'm sure you. I don't know about your institution, but many colleges they do not have this. How do you do that? When someone, we know what to be done, proposal presentation, when to do the synopsis presentation, when to do the research viva, IA, how we are calculating, sending it to the university, all that we are pakka doing. No doubt. Almost all the colleges do that. But we do not have a policy on when you will give a punitive action when there is a misconduct and what are those misconducts. That report we don't have unless otherwise the research department of the university has got. They have, because there is a directorate of research, all the universities, deemed universities. But we don't have per se in the colleges. Train the mentors. The mentor also should be highly ethical and model ethical behavior. Suppose you are, as a professor, you see the petities, you chalta hai, leave it. You tell the guy, the scholar, no problem, leave it. Next we will take. That attitude we should have, which we are not having basically, because the professors are also desperate to do the publication and finish off the procedure time bound. It's a time bound exercise, so we are finding it very difficult to bring that truthfulness in the individual. Top 10 poor behaviors is falsifying cooking research data. I told you, ignoring major aspects of human subject requirements. Major aspect of human subject requirement is I'm sure all of you know, when they do the community study, you ask them at what time you went and gave this nutritional ball. She'll say at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. going to the community, first of all, then you get a doubt. You have a doubt. It's impossible for you to get up and go. Okay, fine. You are so motivated scientist, you are going. What is the position of the family in the community 6 a.m.? Are they in an accepting, this thing that in a community? So human subject requirements, when they ignore it, not properly disclosing involvement in firms whose products are based on one's own research. So you are not telling, disclosing what exactly has happened. Many hospitals, the patient satisfaction, there is a dumb box, all that. But when it comes to the calculation part of it, they will trash all the bad ones. Hardly you will have one or two. That also you will trash and then say all 100 chitties that you have got in the box are good ones. Relationships with students, research subjects, or clients that may be interpreted as questionable. So, how they have gone? Suppose that is what, no, many times the students they say, I'm going to collect the data with the student, the fourth year student, third year student. So what is the relationship? Will she get? Is it not a response and bias? So that then that behavior, then the student will say akka akka or something like didi didi. I have done like that. So that you believe that and you score, which becomes a very wrong thing. Using another's idea without obtaining permission or giving due credit. Many of the standardized scales. That is why we ask them, did you check with the copyright? Did you get a permission for the copyright? You are not taking that. So you should write to the authors and get it. Nowadays, we are making it as a policy that it should be taken into consideration. And many a times, what happens is at least a footnote you give. No, it is a WHO definition, it is a UNESCO definition, it is so and so authors. You say, suppose I've taken from Gagan study, then I say I've taken this from the Gagan study. I cite her reference, her research, then it becomes a good one. Otherwise, then it becomes a poor behavior as a researcher. Unauthorized use of confidential information in connection with own research. What happens is, oh, I know this student, what she wrote, I know. That time she gave informed consent like this, I know. The very bad behavior. She has believed and given you an informed consent, but you have not considered that. Then failing to present data that contradicts one's own previous research. So why we would have done the same study some 6 months back. Now that data and this data will be way different. So we are not telling why and how and all. We just hush it up. But we can always tell that. Then circumventing certain minor aspects of human subject requirements. As I told you, human subject requirements are so many. So then look into it. Or say, suppose in ICU, you go and give something, some nutritional things, a patient who is in coma. Some aspects you would have checked. Of course, ethics is there, hospital ethics would have seen. But did you really give? Sometimes when you went, there must have been a rounds or something like that. So instead of giving 10 ml, you would have given 5 ml. All these things are circumventing certain minor aspects. Overlooking others' use of flawed data or questionable interpretation of data. Others, some data, we know that that research is not fit enough, but we take that and say that's a good one. So that becomes a poor behavior. Changing the design, methodology, or results of study in response to pressure from funding sources, falsification. So many a times what happens, even I'm sure postgraduate students in your own college or other colleges, you would have seen proposal time, she would have done something. Student at her own convenience. Many times we have to insist the student, don't do that. What is in the proposal, not a word you should change. It's been approved already by the scientist. So, but here what happens, as she goes to the area, she found that it is not feasible to get 100 samples, 200 samples. So she goes back and does a sample size collection on her own, get few studies and reduce the sample size. The end product will be, instead of 100 samples, she'll say 50 only I got. And the results also. As I told you, the structured teaching, she must have gone, no mother here, no one is receptive. She herself sat and finished the video recording and finish and comes. So this is all becomes a top 10 behavior. Other behaviors are inappropriately assigning authorship credit. This I'm sure many of you would have come across. Unnecessarily, even sometimes students, I feel, why they are doing this? They have never done anything. Group projects, especially, I know for PGs and all UGs, you must have seen group project. In that group of 10, only 2 will be working totally. but all the others get unnecessary credit of authorship. Even among the faculty, if you have a faculty group project, this is where the conflict arises. So it becomes and inappropriately assigning, the person just by the role of it, they will get publishing the same data or results in two or more publications. The very high bad behavior. We should not do that. Using inadequate or inappropriate research designs just for your convenience. You know that you can do a full randomized control trial, but just for your convenience, we are modifying it and doing, chalta, we'll do quasi experiment, finished our time nahi hai na. So we want to finish and publish it. So that is one problem. Withholding details of methodology or results in papers or papers. You have done something and you are presenting something else. So as I told you, you would have done RCT, then you didn't get a proper effectiveness. Then what you do, you modify that and publish it, because at publishing point, till the research and this thing and all, someone is monitoring. But at the time of dissemination, nobody is going to monitor you. So what you do, you totally change it and make a different study and present the same data. It becomes a horrible thing. Dropping observations or data points. I told you, no, just now I showed you the picture also. Three petri dishes. You know that based on the gut feeling itself, you'll know, okay, this result is going to come wrong. So I'll remove all these data and add someone else. As I told you, there are 200 samples. 50 given you 0 score during post test, and you know that if you are taking it for the analysis there, it is going to be a ineffective structured teaching. So what we do, we modify it. Inadequate record keeping related to research projects, again it's a poor behavior that we are having. What do these terms mean? Many of you must have seen that. We have come across it. Salami slicing. Slicing, as in the picture, breaking up a large study into two or more smaller studies and go on publish it. This person will every month publish something. How did he publish? Then you go and look at it. One study, you would have salami slicing. There are 100 studies they would have made. Duplicate submission. Publishing the same study in multiple journals and multiple submissions. Submitting the same manuscript to multiple journal at a time. Because we want to see, we want to publish and we are in a pressure. So what we do, we quickly do the publication and finished up whichever clicks. That sort of an attitude. Oh, Scopus, if they accept, all right. If UGC accept, all right. I got one publication. So it becomes a this thing. These practices are very unethical, whether it be salami or duplicate or multiple. It's a very inappropriate author misconduct, and duplicate submission are brought to the notice of all editors within the field. Sometimes some journals even bar the authors for as many as 5 years. Nowadays, the journals are making that way if it is a credible journal, and you lose your credibility an author. They can blacklist the person and things like that. So please let us refrain from doing all these things. So why does we do all these things? We do, as this picture says, when you are doing a peer review copy, someone is sent you an article to do a peer review, blind peer review. You are reading that, then you feel that, okay, this is a good study. It's easy to do. So what you do, you quickly go and to copy that and speed up the research. Why? To publish, because we have a publish or perish pressure. If you have to have a performance operation, you will have to look into publish. Otherwise, you will perish. You will not get the increment. Desire to get ahead. You want everyone in the faculty meeting, in the research meeting, everyone says, "Oh, Sharda Ramesh is doing good research." Like that, you want to get, so that pressure. So you go into a wrong drive. It's like making a lot of money, like a thief making a lot of money. Instead of sitting and doing a hard work and earning money, the person goes and breaks someone else's locker and steals. So as good as that, if it is research, though you're not, it's not only money is being stolen here. It's a wisdom and knowledge of some other person. Personal problem, personal behavior. I've seen many of them have this habit of stealing it from somewhere. They never even, I doubt, maybe during their exams in the student period also they must have copied it. That goes on, it becomes a habitual thing for the person. So it's very difficult to change them. These are character issues for the person. Cultural differences. So it's not wrong in my culture. I can do that. She has got, I'll take the pen. You must have seen, you have a pen on your table, someone comes and grabs it. She won't even take a permission. This is a cultural difference. Whereas some places you have. Then the other things like, the individuality, the institutional policy, all these things can also drive you to a, because, the institution will say, okay, okay, you do, somehow you do, give like this. They teach you sometimes how to do. And luckily we don't have, I'm sure your university also, but there are many places where they say, okay, okay, we'll do that, we'll copy that, we'll finish it, we want to do this many before the knack comes. So that is where the problem. So you get it trained from someone else. How is misconduct identified, suspected and reported by a colleague? Usually, that's why I said whistleblowers. Failure to confirm research result by own lab or others. So if you ask them, where did you get this result, the person will be blinking. And we know that she has never used the lab, she has never come during that time, there was attendance lacunae. Then there's something fishy about their conduct of research. Now, what are the consequences if you don't do, or if you have these misconduct? One is withdrawal or correction of all pending and published papers. And as I told you, journals nowadays are very strict, especially the Scopus, UGC, and all. If they come to know, it becomes very difficult for you to later on do anything. Reprimand, removal from project, rank, and salary reduction, dismissal. This could happen if the university is very strong, the institution is very strong, because it is also their reputation. The university, who is university? The group of faculty who were working there only is the university. So every faculty starts doing this misconduct. What is the image of the university in front of the August scientific gathering? Then the university loses its sheen, it loses its image. So naturally they will have all these things: salary reduction, dismissal, getting explanation, sending SOCAS, all these things, restitution of funds to the granting agency. If you are getting an extramural, they will abruptly stop. Then all these will go into a waste, and they will ask you to repay that also. Ineligibility to appear for grants for next 2 3 years or so, that becomes the end of one's research career. If the minute your name comes in the ICMR or somewhere your DBT or somewhere you're putting it, then the name doesn't come, they don't honor that, then you cannot do any research, right? Then that is again a problem. So, who is investigated and who is held accountable? All authors that are involved in the specific data in question to be investigated. Don't leave anyone just because you know someone and you know the professor, you know her for so many years, you cannot spare it. Never do that. And mainly the primary author, they are accountable for what they are talking and what they are doing. Other authors whose results are found culpable, then the other authors also you should check. It's not just, sometimes what happens here is, people, just because primary author is a senior professor, they'll not ask him or her, whereas they will be punishing and talking to all the other authors. Sometimes other time you don't like this professor, you don't like the primary author or something, then you can leave all the others and only target the one person. It is not like that. Whoever has proposed the research is accountable, whether it is student or teacher or whoever it may be. The biggest of the scientists also will be in trouble. Mentors, very important, when, because research is such a tough area, especially for we nurses. We've been growing with this for years. Even now I have so many challenges. Just last week I had 2 papers rejected by the scopers. Now I'm applying to somewhere else. So rejection should not be a personal thing. Where we are problem we are having is, when it is rejected, it looks as if I failed in a semester exam. Don't think like that. I feel that's a attitudinal issue that we have. Initially, I had this when I started in 2002, 4, 3, and all. Whenever there's scopus and all, that time I didn't even know what the scopus was. Nobody taught me, like a wild tree. I'm going. So that time when I did that, I felt that, oh, they are rejecting. 2 3 days I was upset. Then afterwards I thought there's nothing personal. What is personal in that? Nothing. It doesn't mean I've lost my position or power or my salary. It's just a publication. Okay, it didn't fix for their journal. Either I modify and give them, or I don't modify and send to some other journal. So the mentor's responsibility is to ensure that all of the trainees are aware of the conduct of research, for which the mentor should be in a very good position and a easy mind person. Role of trainee and publication authorship you should define when the mentorship you are giving to someone. So have some mentors in your organization to just to give the preview for all the research people. Otherwise, what will happen is in the long run you lose the interest of doing the research. Then obligation to report, good faith. After finishing the study or during the data collection, you give a good faith. Then you discuss with those people. Suppose you are having postgraduate students, so call that group and ask who did well, how they did. It's a good faith report that you can get from them. Then the next thing we are coming to is plagiarism. I'm sure all of you know this plagiarism. To steal and pass off the ideas or words of another as one's own, as if I wrote, when I'm stealing from someone. I'm sure even in the movie field and all nowadays, plagiarism, even in the music field, whether it be Ilayaraja or A.R. Rahman or international people, they say, oh, they've copied this from there to here, even Hindi to Tamil or Tamil to Telugu, someone is copying. So using another's protection without crediting source, it is intransitive verb. You are not asking them. You should ask. Then you acknowledge. Even the movies you must have seen, we acknowledge so and so for giving this story script, for doing this movie. So it becomes, otherwise it becomes a literary theft. You're copying it something from some other's dissertation book and presenting as if it's a new one. You wrote the same thing. Remember, it is a brainchild of some other expert. It's a brainchild of his or her hard work. She must have, I told you how hard it was for me to even digest that. Why I'm telling, after almost now 25 years past now. 2001 it had happened, 24 we are almost halfway. Still I'm not out of it. Still I cannot, excuse that person who took all my data. In his office, I went and sat and worked. That time I was a very junior faculty. I wrote so much of, uh, you know, at the time of doing research and publication, nowhere my name came. It hits you very hard. It hits you very hard. So uh, you have to be uh, very careful when you do that, because it's a brainchild of someone. Is the work of the author's own creation and written in author's own words. There's nothing. See, suppose you are making paratha. Won't you write it? Won't you be able to write it? I made paratha. How much oil I put? How much flour I put? How much methi or something I put? How did I cook it? So you know the process, right? Why we are going and searching someone else's book? Because I didn't make this paratha properly. If I would have had this, made this paratha properly on my own hand, with my own hand, in my own kitchen, I don't need to go and search someone else's kitchen to copy that, right? Am I right? So in such a case, you are not taking it from someone. If not, does the writing provide appropriate credit to previous work? Suppose you have taken few things from someone, from Sanjeev Kapoor's kitchen. I've copied some pickle. Give the credit to him. How can you say, I did this mango pickle on my own? You have copied it from somewhere, right? So, unless otherwise you have improvised it. Pickle is the same base only. All of you know that. But some improvisation I've made in my own kitchen, I've done it. Same thing is research. I have done some changes in it and I have put it. So that is where the credit I should give. I've copied the main idea from there, but I have improvised it. Though I'm giving the definition, the footnotes for that particular author. So it becomes very important. So the next thing is there are 10 types of plagiarism that you can look at, which are from least to severe. The first one is cloning. Word to word, you're copying. Cut, copy, paste is the next one. I'm sure all of you know this. Cloning is totally you have copied the paragraph from that person and attached in this. Control C, that is cut copy, is some written piece of information, 2-3 paragraphs. Control C, cut copy and put it. Cut copy, usually we do it for the pictures also. I always tell my faculty also, be very careful when you're putting some pictures into your book and all. It should be an original, or you should take the copyright of that person. Okay, so cut copy is the, see, why even in Facebook, I'm sure many of the names will be there. They would have put Karina Kapoor or Katrina's photo in that. That's a cut copy culture. That's not her photo, right? So the totally you have taken the text from someone and all alterations you made and placing it in between. Find and replace the keywords and phrases. You are changing it because some changes you made, but still it is a copying only. The paragraph is the same. Some keywords you change. As we go through, we will go through that. Remix, an act of paraphrasing from other sources and making the fit content for your book. Remix, mixing it. There are 2-3 books you are taking and doing it. Recycle, act of borrowing generously from one's previous work without citation. That is self plagiarize. You are taking your own book, copying it from there and presenting it as if you have done it yesterday and today. Hybrid, the act of combining perfectly cited source with copied passages without citation in one paper. So hybrid, they're also hybrid. Now you are having a hybrid conference here. That is also mashup is a paper that represents a mix of copied material from several different sources without any proper. This is very bad. 404 error, I'm sure you must have seen in the websites also. When they are crashing the pages, a written piece that includes citation to non-existent or inaccurate information about sources. So 404 error, you're taking it, you're doing something and you're not giving any citation. Aggregator is includes proper citation, but the paper contains almost no original work. You have not done any original work. You have just copied from, it's all pakka work. Well, the other author has done a pakka work. But what you have done, you have aggregated it and say that this is my study, like that. Retweet. This paper includes proper citation but relies too closely on the text original wording or structure. Very close. Only a borderline difference you can see. So there are 10 types of plagiarism that we should look into. You should be very careful on what we are doing. Be very careful, even changing the word and things like that. For easy reasons, we are doing it. So let me put it from most to least severe order. Cloning is what we are doing. Totally word from word, copied from there. Just copy it. Control C. Control C is put a Control C, cut copy. All of you know that. The third thing is again find and replace. Remix is another very important thing. Paraphrasing, changing the words. Then recycle. Recycle is from your own topic you take from that content. Easy, no? From there you cut and copy and put and say this is my own work. So that is hybrid is the sixth thing that you are doing, like a car. Why we put it nowadays? Hybrid car is there. So you are putting that. Mashup. Mashup is, you know how it is. Copied from many places and, totally put into, which you are very clever. When in mashup, what is the difference is, in mashup, you are looking at the resources which are not properly cited. Because they will never know that you have done like this. Someone has copied it. So that material you are mashing up. 404 is again on the 8th in the scale of 10. An aggregator, again, aggregator is all the properly cited studies you are taking and making your own khichdi. So the retweet is taking it, rewording it and presenting it. So some examples I'm giving. Cloning is, as you can see, simply copied. See, I've underlined here. There are two things here. I can't read it because, I don't want to read and take time because I'm just skipping through that. Your same original is, since it's the first discovery, it starts like that. Now in this one, unoriginal, the person has copied it. Now, how do you know that it is your topic or that? Only the author name variation will be there. So then you know in 1990s or 60s or 70s, someone had written the same way, someone has copied it. So the plagiarism tool software only can say that. Otherwise, who's going to tell that? Nobody can tell that. This one is Control C. See from where it starts? It's first discovery. Since you have removed, okay? You have removed since that word. See, gaps are there, as you can see. I'm keeping my cursor. See, from that time, you have added that as an, if you, the person who is writing, the researcher, and even religious, and in between you added one word, possession. And then again, and you have added. While it is written, you have added one. Then while again here also, and you have added, and while perception. See, mind perception, some mild changes you are making, but still is a Control C, cut, copy, paste culture. Then this one, the original article is this like this since its first discovery. Now what you have done, the researcher, to make that find and replace, instead of writing indigenous people, the person is writing native people. In the mid 19th century, it is in the word, I'm sorry. In the mid, here 19th century, you're putting in the numerical and sacred, in between even sacred. Religious, here it is religious, here you are writing sacred. And American conscious, you are writing psych. See how nicely the find and replace. So you have found certain words, gone through the thesaurus, and gone through your paraphrasing and making it, right? So special grip on the Western mind it is. Here, instead of mind, we are putting it as mindset. Political movements. Here, over time, due to changing politics, it is written. Here, slowly we have written it as political movement. Nobody will be able to, unless you go through that very stringently, go through that's why plagiarism tools. They are making crores on this. Environmental concerns. Instead of writing concern, we are writing issues. Right? And impact on nature, you are writing to their relationship and impact. One word, attuned to his relationship and impact on nature, attuned to their relationship and impact on nature. Extra words, find and replace. Here, remix. Remix what again? The same. I'm starting with the same paragraph. Look into it. Same paragraph only. This is how many, all the 10 types we are making it here. In the mid 19th century, Joseph Frost. So what you have done somewhere, that author's name, something you have added. And from the start, the valley has been here that it is beauty, it is an incomparable valley. So you are writing something. Highly regarded. They have not written highly regarded as the centerpiece or something. They have not written. Holds, while yours might holds a special grip of the Western mind. Same thing copied. So here, very mild differences, remix. From here to there to there. His, instead of saying, they're writing their relationship. Like that, you're changing it. Remix. Certain words, we are remixing it. Recycle is same only, same paragraph. See, you are looking at the same paragraph. Dear delegates, please understand the same paragraph only. I'm giving it in a different fashion. How you can do it. The same paragraph, if it is recycle, how it looks like. If it is a find and replace, how it is a clone, how it is a Control C, all that we are looking at. So here again, that this author's name in the mid then, unique, had a special, you are writing as unique, recycling it. And rise of environmental concerns and environmental concerns, rise of. So what you, in today's world, we are making it. And here, see, an unnatural expectation is a natural setting they are writing. We are writing it as unnatural expectation. We changed it, recycled it, taken the material and based on our this thing we have done. Hybrid. See, it is a hybrid. What we have done, the previous 2, 3, whatever I have done, see all these. This is all hybrid. From 2, 3 places we have taken, we have put it. See, the heading is the same. So somewhere we are copying. Here, see, Avchi and themselves, while yours might hold a special grip to like that. So it becomes, and some As I told you, hybrid, you give citations also. Some citations you are making, but the sentence and all, if it goes to the plagiarism, you are caught. It will be 100% plagiarized material. Mashup. I told you, no, taking from the previous 2, 3 areas we have taken and made it. See, mind, perception, 1849 California, somewhere had conflicts between miners and natives, volunteer, all that. It doesn't make any sense here. This is non-indigenous people, neither. But somewhere we have added all these sentences. Was formed by the state of California. California, somewhere we have done. The work of Iris gave all the Easterners an appreciation for yours and started a movement to preserve it. See how it has been made. Nobody will be able to. This is a mashup. Somewhere you have taken this all 4 sentences, added, but if you read it in a coherence, you will not get it. You will not make any meaning. It doesn't make sense at all up till this to that. The next thing is 404 error. Here, see, you have copied for an insightful discussion, the World Test Expedition. Some errors you have added, Bloom, all these are not at all involved in this. But you are writing it and making it as a total error. Instead of writing natural setting, you are written perceived beauty, man's nature, and exploration and settlement. So how we can do it? It is actually history of exploration. But here you are saying perceived beauty. So that's not the thing, right? So it is totally unoriginal. Aggregator. See the aggregator, what he has done, I told you, it is all cited. Earlier I told you. All citation material you are taking on this and then quoting it and then giving all the credit to the citation, but not a single sentence original of this author. You understand? So you see, you are copied from all these people. I'm sorry. You have copied all these people and aggregator does it. It is all cited material only the aggregator will take. Cited. Everything is cited. So, but copy. Not a single sentence. Any research should have your own inputs. Your own brainchild should be there. Retweet. Retweet is same thing. Only thing, few words from myths, which have since you have written. And you have given some citation to it. Retweeting, completely copying. What the only difference is 2, 3 verbs you would have added, 2, 3, in between bridging sentences. And see, natural setting is to exploration and settlement. From here you have taken. The natural setting is what the heading, but here you have taken the subtopic and retweeting it. So that is how it is. The next thing is plagiarism. I'm sure all of you know that. The first thing is copyright. Copyright in the plagiarism is a form of protection provided by the laws of the United States to the authors of original work of authorship, including literary, dramatic, musical, artistic, and certain other intellectual works. So if you are making a tool or if you are taking some Beck's inventory scale and publishing it, get a copyright. Don't tell me it is impossible. I have done it my own thesis. I have done it a copyright. I have taken from the Beck. Beck is no more. He did it in 1940s. I took the tool and I went and approached Aaron Beck. His son had the copyright and he gave me. It's still there in my thesis. So, but it took time. It took time. And luckily, these people have done the Beck inventory depression scale was used in CMC Vellore. They had translated into Tamil regional language. I met Sir, our Dr. Abraham, that time the psychiatrist. I got the permission from them and then did it. It took lot of time, remember. But the copyright is very important. Little did I know it was such a big thing on copyright, because I was doing my study, all my research thesis is happening in the year of 2002 and 3. At that time, this much of WhatsApp mail was very less, but still it's there. And I'm very proud of that also, that I could do it. And that's how my synopsis and all, just like that, I had a cakewalk, because all were happy about the hard work that I had put in. Terminology of fair use. It's a statutory and a copyright law that allows for the use of limited portion of a work. Sometimes the author may not give you the full use. So without having to have a permission from the original author, it is difficult to do. So ask him to give some fair use material, whichever, full or less or whatever. This is usually you must have seen in movies and all. Some some remixing musics are there now. So they original music director, they will get the permission. Then do it, the fair use. They are using their own tune, but the originality is there. So little bit of changing they are doing. So that is what. It was created for the purpose of education. It's a little harder to pin down than plagiarism or copyright. So fair use, you should know what it is. And the Copyright Office only states that there is no specific number of words or how much you want to use and all. There is no SOP for that. But nevertheless, you can always, a huge document, huge movie or something, if they're copying it from a book to make the script of a movie, then they will have a fair use of it, the permission to be taken. There are types of plagiarism also. One is copying. All of us know that what it is. Types of copying, we know that. And you copy someone else's work, put your name there, it becomes a plagiarized one. This is an example. Children are totally insensitive. This is one paragraph that you are taking an example. And then next you see how it is. This one is pretty straightforward. If a writer copies word for word the text from Zimbardo's book, does not acknowledge in any way that it was Zimbardo's work, the writer has committed plagiarism. So that is one example. Patchwork is borrows the phrases and clauses from the original source and weaves them in their own writing without putting the phrases in quotation. You should put the quotation. It should be like that author is saying this, that you are not telling. Instead, you are saying, it looks as if the sentence is very important. Quotations. No, you should give the quotation. So and so said that. For example, here, that same paragraph, what earlier Zimbardo's is here, they are totally insensitive to their parents' shyness. It should be in bracket, patchwork. But you are not doing that. Control and authority, bracket, we have not done it. Shy side to their children, we have not done it. All the red ones, no, mark. All knowing and all powerful, not dumb, ugly, or weak. Who's saying that? These are very powerful words, right? Not dumb, ugly, or weak. Who is saying? Zimbardo is saying. I'm not saying. So then it should be in a quotation. Here again, I had the author of this passage put the colored phrases in quotation marks and added a citation after the quotation. Author would have been safe. Which one? The previous one. See, all these colored one, I just give, either I should have given some color for your understanding, I've made it as color. But actually it is all written in one line like that in the original version. But what I should have done as an author, I should have put a quotation mark, given a color, and give the credit to the particular Zimbardo author. But I have not done it. Okay, without a quotation mark and proper citation, then it is you are committing a plagiarism. Definitely, you are committing a plagiarism. Paraphrasing plagiarism without citing the sources. You have just copied it. There is no paraphrase to it. Even changing the word little using synonyms. Earlier we were reading, no, that Yosemite Valley. So many words they've changed. Some words, instead of saying nature's concern, then you are saying nature's something like that. It's synonyms you are using. Cleverly you are putting it. That means highly intentional, no? You know that it is not the original work. You have made some, input. Style without citing the source is still considered plagiarism. Definitely, it is a essential thought, sentence structure, taking it and read the sentence and making it. You are paraphrasing it. That is definitely a plagiarism. This is one example. The same previous paragraph, what we said. Children are completely, this is synonym they have taken. Because the parents are the authority and controlling, they may not feel shy and therefore, moreover, during the formative years, all these are paraphrased here instead of some other words. So that becomes a very bad way of here. See, now, had the author of this paragraph used footnotes, parenthetical citations to acknowledge, then it becomes a non-plagiarized stuff. But what we have done is, we have taken and copied synonyms, we have added antonyms, we have added no acknowledgement, no footnotes. Then it becomes plagiarism. So this is where when we put in the software, the whole thing 80%, 90%, then we get a shock of our life. Babre, what full it is. Then we say, madam, we will change this. Actually, we given the footnotes there and parenthetical citations we have done, it wouldn't have been a problem for us. Unintentional plagiarism. You are not unintentionally you have done that, and it incorrectly quotes something. It says in the UNESCO you are saying something, then it is unintentional. The author didn't mean to do it, but again, plagiarism tool will show it is plagiarized. Why? Because it is another work and considered as plagiarism, and people cannot read minds. Arey Baba, how do you know that I didn't copy? I am claiming I'm not copying. But how do you know that I'm a honest person in today's world? So that is why, even if it is unintentional, when you put in the plagiarism software, someone says the tool says it's plagiarized because the tool cannot read that you have taken it unintentionally. You see, you just took it like that because it's a study, you were too eager to finish it and you have done it. So that is why, whether it is unintentional or intentional, if you cut and copies and clone it and all, it becomes a plagiarized. So what you should do? Simple, be honest. Write your paper as you have done it. Do not take from someone. In between, review alone, you can give in the parenthetical quotations. That's all you need to do. Earlier, I told you, like how when you make something in the kitchen, you are able to tell that, reproduce it. So if you have done a research, then you should be able to reproduce it. You will be telling in the words, same words what you are telling, put in the write-up form. Then it becomes totally a non-plagiarized tool. It's easy for you to go through the software and finish it off. Use your own work as often as possible. Your backup, your own work. Always cite your own work and keep it. Otherwise, what it becomes, you are retweeting it, you are self-plagiarizing it. So whenever you do some work, cite it and keep it. Ask someone to cite it and keep it. So then you reproduce it in your next research work. It will be easy for you. Another way is to quote or cite your sources properly. Always, where you have taken. That's why when you say you have retrieved it from website, such and such a website, http / www dot this Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare codes, then give that credit. What is wrong in that? So proper quotations, if you want to do a proper quotation, you should always have a style manual. Ask your college, ask your university to give a style manual, how to cite a particular research. Everyone can have their own style. There are so many styles, we'll be going through that. And which style manual you have to use when you quote it. That's an important thing. Direction, it should come from the institution. And be sure to ask it if they are not giving it, whether your professor or your director or someone. Let them give a format for you. The following are the examples. MLA is there, APA is there, Chicago is there. The text is taken from the passage of Zimbardo, so we have to look at it. MLA is nothing but modern language citation quotation. So many are using that. So we are taking this. Some researchers note that quotation, children are totally insensitive to their parents' shyness, and give that Zimbardo 62 page, whatever the book. So when I go through this and reference, I know Zimbardo quotes it. Second thing is direct. Zimbardo notes that children are totally. So the credit comes in the first place itself. It's a very direct sentence. You are not taking it. Again, 62 is a reference. When I go back, I can get. So modern language citation, these are the formats. Paraphrasing. Some researchers have observed that children seem unaware that their parents are considered bashful. Zimbardo 62. So paraphrased it. Instead of parents, shyness, insensitive, some thesaurus search has been done and paraphrased it. Paraphrasing without this is wrong. That's what is earlier we said, 10 top plagiarism. Paraphrasing with the quotation, with the author's name, due respect and acknowledgement to it, it's a good one. Okay, so that the minus difference one should understand. Paraphrasing totally I'm taking. If I have not put this, then I become wrong. APA, all of you know, American Psychological Association or Chicago quotation. Here again, see, children are totally insensitive to their parents and shyness. You are not telling. Who is telling? Zimbardo 77, page 62 is telling that. It is an indirect one. Direct sentence, if you want to quote it, Zimbardo notes that Children are totally insensitive to their parents. Again, quotation. See how it is. It's a direct one. Author's name comes first. In quotation, it comes, and page number you are giving. Paraphrasing, again, little bit changes. Some researchers have observed that children seem oblivious to their parents' bashfulness and give that. So, this APA style is also almost the same thing. The same sentence, we are taking it in a different format. Same models, examples. Proper citation. To proper citing, you should also consult the style manual. As I told you, Turabian is similar to Chicago format. So there is one called as Turabian also. MLA, it's like this. Zimbardo, when you write the reference and Zimbardo, Philip Shiner, what is it? What to do about it? Cambridge. Like that it is. Essay chapter means it is like this. Graphic design, something like that. And then you are writing it. MLA is like this. And if it is article from database, again in web. When did then web it came? I told you, no, retrieved from web. ProQuest, Web 27, May 2009. This has been taken. Mid 20th century England, what we studied, no, that Yosemite Valley, all that. So like that, you will have some material here in the MLA citation. Entire website, if you have taken it from the entire, then give this credit like that. Web 6, September 12, we have taken it. Page on website. Suppose from the page on website you have copied it, how to make vegetarian chili like this, like this. Which page? 24 Feb 2012, we have taken it. Like that you have to write. If it is APA, I'm sure all of you know APA style. I don't need to elaborate it. Nevertheless, just for your knowledge, I'm just putting it. Like Springer is telling all these things. Zimbardo, again, how it came. And again, article. APA does not require that a citation from an article in a database or that fact. Okay, you can cite an article you find in a database the same way you would cite a regular print article as in the example above. Okay, from a database, you need not cite. It automatically in the APA it goes. That's what they are saying. Website, I told you, no, retrieved. Many of us would have written that from http//. We have all have written. I'm sure all of you are writing that. This is a very common thing that when you click it, it takes you to that material. Then item without author, where you are explaining a definition or something, then it's a Merriam Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. Then you write what it is, which edition, which year, all that in APA citations. So that is how it is. Now, coming to the take-home messages, always give credit where credit is due. Whoever is written, you give the credit. Submit your own work. As I told you, we are only doing it.
Excuse me, ma'am. Mic, ma'am. Please carry my mic.
Okay. Ensure the information are not fabricated. Sorry, there's a spelling error there. It is not fabricated. Ensure the information are not fabricated. Acknowledge all sources. Always. If you have to look at integrity, then this is how we'll have to look into. In ethical practices, what is the take home messages? I'm sure all of you have studied that. All of us know that. Autonomy, respect for right, beneficence, do good, non-maleficence, not to do bad, justice is treat all equally and equitably. So these are the ethical practices, golden rule that we have to carry home whenever we are doing a research. Ensure that the research is having these 8 principles. The previous one, take home messages of acknowledge all sources and submit your own work. Of course, it is your own work. And give credit wherever others have done. And in ethical practices, these are the book picture. There is no other thumb rule to it. I can only say rice is rice. I cannot change it, right? So in ethical practices, autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice is the 4 pillars of ethical practices. Nobody can do anything about it. Now, if I do all these things, when you practice AI, academic integrity in ethical practices, what is that you get? Why you should do that? Leave alone publication, leave alone PAR API scores, leave alone your increment. The first thing you have is pride. See, 2002, I'm getting a copyright from Beck. Today, with pride, I'm telling you that. How many years have gone? I take the pride because Now, as the years go by, when people are stumbling to get the copyright, I'm feeling very proud that I could, go up till Harcourt assessment, go up till Beck's office, sitting in India and doing some study, writing only with mail, no WhatsApp. Remember in 2001 and 2, there is no WhatsApp. Only through email. Those days, the bandwidth was not good. These, how many months and days I would have written the mail. Remember, I don't even have a laptop that time, only a PC we know, a big one, you know that. So, but today I take a pride that I have done this. So, if you are practicing AI and EP, you always carry a pride. Nobody can give you, no money will give you pride. The second thing is purpose of your research. After that, how many researchers, PhD scholars, I have taken classes how to appear for Harcourt assessment when standardization, because I have gone through that exercise. Every step, it was like I was like a wild plant, in the jungle. I explored, went into it. So that gives you a lot of satisfaction. Patience. As I told you, no WhatsApp, no nothing, no phone call, only mail with Beck's office and myself. So patience. I had the, somehow God gave me the patience and persistence. One mail would have bounced, one mail would have, see, Western country, their time is different, the time zone variation. Persistence. I was very confident that one day I will get the approval, right? Persistence and perspective. I knew that this will give me importance. Why I'm taking from my own life example, not to boast about me. How good this was, academic integrity and ethical practices, how good it was. Even now, when students come, I'm the last author, but I would be the corresponding author. I never put as PI. Many of us, what we do, we put our name as PI, but the student's name will be trailing. That is not a good way. After all, they only wrote it there. We can be a corresponding author. Why corresponding author? We have to handhold them. Otherwise, how they're going to publish it? So that is how we have to do. So let us not take their hard work to our credit. That will not bring in happiness and pride for us. So, so if you have these 5 P's, when you practice AI and EP, you will get all the 5 P's with you more than anything else. More than anything else, your popularity, your, the performance appraisal. Beyond that, those are all beyond P's. The 5 P's that when you do all these things, have this. So with that, I end my topic here, and I'm open for the question.